Generally speaking, in this country, a lot of environmentally problematic facilities tend to be located in places where poor folks live.
Right now, the zip code is the most important predictor of health and well-being. You tell me a zip code, I can tell you how healthy you are. All zip codes are not created equal.
Really?
Yes. You can find zip codes that are adjacent to each other and have a life expectancy disparity of 10, 15 years, depending on what's in that neighborhood and what's not in that neighborhood.
Black neighborhoods in particular can get targeted with incredible precision, and the stakes could not be higher here. Pollution is one of the driving factors behind conditions like heart disease, asthma, and even death, with Black Americans nearly 3 times as likely to die from exposure to pollution. And vast disparities can even exist within the same city, as this environmental expert breaks down.
How are we doing as far as our infrastructure?
Our infrastructure, we've been out of compliance for 4 decades.
4 decades. How does that affect us in the drinking water?
Our drinking water, we're not testing for forever chemicals. So we got Walton County and we got Gwinnett and all that's building a whole lot. So that's messing up our drinking water that feed into us. So give it another 4 or 5 years, we're going to have to be going to Lake Lanier. That's billions of dollars.
To get water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your credential to be able to speak on this?
Oh, I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Safety Technology. I have certification with BODs, CODs, and RCRA. BODs is biological oxygen demand. CODs is chemical oxygen demand. I know how to dispose all of them. So this is very, I worked in this field. I'm not just talking.
Yeah.
I work in it. BODs is biological oxygen demand. That's when you flush your toilet going to the waste. CODs, these chemical companies that we have in here that treat their own chemical wastewater. We have no paperwork.
This is verified, nothing they're doing.
They don't know where the wastewater going. So you got formaldehyde, benzene riding all through Rockdale County. They have no clue. I asked them, where the paperwork?
No paperwork.
Our computer went down. Really? So I'm asking EPD, where the paperwork?
Yeah.
They don't know.
Nobody knows.
This is our quality of life. You asking me why I'm saying that? I live here.
Yeah.
I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Cancer Alley. So I know how this works. If we don't say nothing, it's going to get worse and worse. And so the new administration coming in, you can't beat them up.
Yeah.
They're coming into a disaster.
So there's this idea of environmental justice. It's pretty simple. Communities shouldn't be forced to deal with more pollution because they belong to a certain race, national origin, or income bracket. Yet America has struggled over the years to implement any serious policy that actually protects these communities. So let's lay out the ways the government has failed them.
We will not allow Warren County to become a dump site.
The fight for environmental justice took off in 1982, when residents of Warren County, North Carolina mounted mass demonstrations against a plan to dump contaminated soil in a landfill in their community. The EPA investigated 4 similar landfills in southern states and found that they were all located in Black or low-income neighborhoods. In 1987, the United Church of Christ Racial Justice Commission found that around the country, hazardous waste facilities were more likely to be located in mostly minority communities. Amid mounting proof, the federal government was forced to act.
I, George Herbert Walker Bush.
So in 1992, President George H.W. Bush founded the Office of Environmental Justice inside the EPA. 2 years later, President Bill Clinton signed an executive order requiring federal agencies to consider environmental justice in all of their policies, as well as extending civil rights protection to environmental discrimination. But Congress never passed a bill to make Clinton's executive order law. Then came George W. Bush. His administration shifted the focus of the Office of Environmental Justice from protecting low-income and minority communities to all people, leaving vulnerable populations without a federal environmental advocate.
Let's take a look at environmental racism, how it got this bad, how government and industry continue to fail people of colour, and what we can do about it. And the first major factor to consider here is history. It was explicit federal policy for decades to segregate housing based on race through a process known as redlining. Basically, black people could not get government-backed home loans where white people lived, and the areas where they could live were often also zoned for industrial uses. Here's how it worked in Dallas.
So you can take a redlining map from the 30s and maps from the 40s and overlay that on a current industrial map of Dallas. And they'll show you black and brown folks are forced to live side by heavy industry in a way that nobody else in Dallas was forced to live.
That's basically the same parts of town, which does seem pretty intentional. Pollution can be invisible, and those that you'd expect to warn you about that can be incredibly slow to do so when it comes to communities of colour.
Thank you for inviting me. I am the state representative for soil and water conservation. I'm the first black man to be elected to this position since 1937, since the creation of soil and water. I worked in a field like this before, and you catch my breath. But this company is called a COD. What I mean is a chemical oxygen demand. They treat their own water. And the chemicals that they keep on property, sulfuric acid, MIBK, that will kill you. Everybody in Rockdale County need to go to the doctor and check out their blood for toxic. Please get that out. They used to send me out every time, at least every other month. So, please. Next thing is, I asked for a federal criminal investigation. This is not the first time. This is the second time. I've been asking for this 3 weeks ago to Senator Ossoff, Senator Warnoff, and Congressman Hank Johnson. Both of all the officers say they was going to do an inquiry and have the DOJ get involved. I had the HOA on the phone calls with me. 3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, what we have? Fire. But they say it's an accident. Where's the MSDS? Where's the material safety data sheet? Where's the layout of the company? Why the chemicals wasn't stored in the dry place? Why they didn't call out farm truck like they did in 2004?
So the initial call came in around 5:30 a.m. With a fire that, of course, activated the sprinkler systems, which reacted with the chemical itself. And so it's just been an ongoing. We've been fighting the fire with water, but the water is also aggravating the chemical, so it's a twofold. But we were able to get the fire under control, and that's where we are right now.
How are we going to solve this? We need a federal criminal investigation. EPA Region 4 is the worst region in the United States. Look it up. Rockdale County been out of federal compliance for 4 decades. I've been fighting for 6 years. They put a guy on the ballot illegally. He wasn't an incoming. So I'm pulling out warrants now. Yeah, the governor's scared. I've been fighting and been saying that their company was going to explode. No one listened. We got to remove this company out of this community. Yes, sir. Now, we got one other company that's in there. That's the same way. It's called PRATT. P-R-A-T-T. By 8 o'clock at night, you can smell the chlorine. They handle 1.7 tons of recycled paper. I'm the only one that have inspected that. We don't have enough inspectors to go in these companies. They know that. And they're not qualified. They know that. What I'm angry at, too, is that $850 million of our taxes went to this company to kill us. Y'all are in charge. Y'all elected official. We need a federal criminal investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. weight of my husband, Kenny Arnold Johnson's passing has me grappling with grief that is profound. I'm not sure how to express it. And I know we all share in his sorrow and have so many questions surrounding his sudden departure.